So, Musiala's joining Liverpool. In my dreams. Right, hello there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another Redmond Roundup. We've got some news breaking from a journalist who works at Sport Bild. He's a German journalist. He's came out and he works closely with certain clubs, Bayern Munich being one of them, Augsburg being another, a few other teams as well that I can't quite remember from the top of my brain. But if I'm not connected to my laptop, Wi-Fi wise, so can't get it up. But the news is that Musiala is being linked as an option that Liverpool actually want. Now, does this mean we're going to get him? No. Does this mean Real Madrid will probably get him before us? Possibly. But what does it mean? Are we serious about the player? And is this a player that we're looking at? I think yes. Now, hear me out. I think that we've been, in recent time, looking for that big signing to make. I think for a while, we've been looking to break our transfer record. Tchouaméni tells me this. Bellingham tells me this. Caicedo tells me this. And we actually put in a bid for Caicedo. Whether or not we knew we was going to get him, I think when you put 110 million on the table, you are serious about getting this Colombian dude who's been around for about a season. And in hindsight, I still wish we could have got that big deal over the line. We never, which means we've still got those funds. Everything else that had happened had already happened. The alternative to all these great midfielders that we ended up getting was Endo, because we already got Szoboszlai, we already got McAllister, and that was prior to any of these links with Caicedo, with Lavia, etc. So I do think we're going to be in the market for a big-name player. Now, hear me out. Musiala wouldn't join Liverpool, James. You're right. Real Madrid could come in and swoop him off us. Maybe Man United, Man City, something like this. Why is my hair doing the bandu looting? It's bloody disgraceful. But the point that I'm leading to is, yes, someone else can swoop in for him. That's not the topic of the video. The topic of the video is Liverpool interested? Will they have the funds to get the player? And will the player actually want to go? Because the management, for a while now, Musiala and his management has been in talks with Bayern Munich regarding a new contract. His current contract expires in 2026, not that long away. And also, we're in 2024 or approaching 2024. When it gets to the summer, we're talking 2 years left of that deal. Is this somebody, especially with the fact that we've got one eye on Salah going out the door in the next year or two, potentially, is this someone who could come in and maybe do a job? Because one thing I like about Musiala, he's versatile. He can play across the front three, well, behind the striker mainly, or next to the striker. He's got the ability to be able to play on the wings, create for the forwards. And he's so mature on the ball. His ball manipulation is fantastic. The way he reads the game, his passing sensational. It's a player that I really like. And if Salah was to go, I'm looking at Musiala as somebody, if you was able to get him, and you've already got an established Szoboszlai in the team, and then McAllister's had a few more seasons, Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones, or either one of them maybe have had a few more progressive years under Jurgen Klopp. If you are to add Musiala to that list, you have got yourself a well-established team, no matter who the next manager is. And we always fear about when Jurgen Klopp goes, etc. Listen, I don't think Musiala goes for free, but if we're able to get him when there's a year left on his deal, and as I reiterate, or I do want to reiterate, the current situation is talks are on hold between Bayern Munich and and Musiala's management, because the management want to see the direction that Bayern Munich are truly going in. Right now, I don't think the top of the Bundesliga, at the moment, they've seemed to be a little bit stop-start, and under Thomas Tuchel, the direction the trajectory hasn't seemed to be going like this. Even last season, they won the league by what? Goal difference. So, although Bayern Munich can still be a dominant team in Germany, if you're Musiala, you're probably looking at someone like Jude Bellingham, thinking, I want to go and have a bigger platform than what I've got right now. All respect to Bayern Munich, and I'm sure the fan base that they've got is huge, and they've even got worldwide supporters. I know they are not as big as Liverpool. I know they aren't as big as Man United. I know they aren't as big as Arsenal. I know they aren't as big as Barcelona, Real Madrid, and I think these are the teams and the platform that will attract Musiala to want to play. So now we've got to question a few things. Could he leave? Well, the contract that ends in 2026 and the talks that are on hold tells me he could. Second of all, do we have the funds to get the player? Absolutely 100%. Proof is in the pudding when you saw the £110 million bid for Caicedo. Is it likely we'll get him? No, because when do we ever get our main targets or our main superstars? Jude Bellingham, etc., etc. But are we interested? I think based on the source, it's reliable enough to suggest that we're going to get him. And I understand there's people in the comments right now, oh my God, James, stop reporting on this. I haven't said we're going to get him. If I said that we're going to get him, then we've got a problem. James is being insincere as fuck. But James hasn't said that we're going to do that, so therefore I'm being sincere as fuck. What I've said is that we're interested, and I think there's concrete interest. I'm now asking the question, can we pay for him? Can we afford him? Absolutely, especially if there's a year left on his deal. Is Jurgen Klopp a good enough manager to attract such a player? 100%. Is the players at Liverpool that, if by then, let's say a year or two, when it does run down to the last year of his contract, will we have players around Musiala potentially to attract him to the club, like Szoboszlai? 100%. Trent Alexander-Arnold? No doubt. You want to play with ballers, and these are ballers. We've got ballers, and we've got growing ballers as well. Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, young centre-backs like Kanate. Jarrell Kwanzaa looks like he's only going to get better. Still a little bit too soon, but you can still try and gauge whether or not he's going to be good enough. So I raised the question to the Redmond Army, is this a player that you want? Is this a player you think that we're interested in? I think based on the source, there's enough evidence there to say that we are, that he's at least a target. So no, let's not get off our high horses and say, oh my goodness, we're going to go and get Musiala, because that's not true. And listen, whether it even was, let's say Musiala's number one option is Liverpool right now, that does not mean it's going to be his number one option in 2 years' time. Do you hear what I'm saying? But what it can be is a potential partnership in the near or distant future. If his contract is to run down, it can be another option for him, is what I'm saying. And say we go on and do well, say we win the Europa League this year, compete for the title next year, if we find a way to win a league title, by the time he's really thinking about leaving Bayern Munich, now it gets interesting. And also, Bayern Munich don't want to lose that player for free. So if he does get down to a final year, they will be inclined to sell. They will be forced to sell. And I think we'll have the funds to be able to get him. You know what I mean? So that was the purpose of the video. The source, I think his name's like I can't remember his name now, but do go and look. It's on like big Liverpool pages at the moment, and you've got to read it word for word. People seem to think whenever there's a transfer link, it means he's going to join Liverpool, and they go, oh my God, he's not going to join. You've done absolutely zero and achieved nothing when you say that. Of course, it doesn't mean he's going to join, but are we interested? I think we are. And can we get him? I think we could. Will he join? That's the question I'm unsure about, because he might see a better suitor. Maybe Real Madrid are going to go out and get friggin' Job Bellingham as well as him, and then him, Jude, and friggin' Job can be in the midfield just as a little trio. But I think we've got good enough players to attract him. I think we've got a good enough manager to attract him. And if our project keeps going like this and Liverpool's trajectory keeps going up, I think we've got the funds to be able to get the player. So I'm not excited or anything like that, but it is lovely to see, especially in the past 2 to 3 years, that we're at least in the market for these big names. Because always with Liverpool, you know, you think in the early 2000s, we were able to attract certain big names, you know, Fernando Torres and, you know, Luis Suarez when he was at Ajax. But we're not talking about the top echelon in Europe, you know what I mean? We're not talking about the best striker or anything along these lines. We turn them into the best striker, or we turn them into the best player, or we get them in those conversations, and that's going to be the case with Musiala, I think. But Musiala is one of the best prospects in his position. If we was to get him, I think that'd be a better signing than getting Mbappe. I really, really do. I'm not saying he's a better player than Mbappe. I just think Mbappe will bring more politics potentially to the football club that is unnecessary. Musiala seems like he'd come in, get his head down, fit in with the team. He's in a very disciplined structure if we was to get him. And if we was to sign him, that would just mean he has the right attitude to play for Liverpool Football Club. Anyone who's had a hint of an attitude problem of being shunned out, and anyone who's willing to work for the team. You know, you think about the amount of players who have had to play out of position. McAllister playing CDM. Szoboszlai playing a little bit more deeper this season than probably what he's used to. James Milner when he was at the club playing friggin' left back. You know what I mean? Like, we ask a lot of our players, and I think Musiala has the versatility, the ability and everything in between to be a top-class player for Liverpool. So let's analyse what this video is. I'm not coming out here trying to clickbait you saying that we're going to get him, but the interest, in my opinion, is there. Doesn't mean it is there, but it could be. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about this news as well. I am about to go live and do a tier list. I've actually got to hurry up because it's 32 minutes past, so my audience is waiting. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you later. Have a good day.